I will say this. A nice 5'8" religious white guy has an uphill battle right now socially. He really does. And it truly, okay? And I'm gonna get killed for saying that, but it's true. Women treat those guys like crap.
But you have to look at a Mormon girl, see what her dad was like, and then do the exact opposite.
Work out, be nice, and don't watch porn. Literally, that's all you got to do.
And so they get this idea in their head that nothing is good enough. So they just like throw around these amazing...
I don't think she's totally wrong.
Feminism has destroyed middle-class dating.
And Quaker, you are guilty of this.
The majority of men I know want to be in a relationship.
The person that they're dating currently is way better than they should ever be able to get.
Beautiful women who grow up poor are great.
That's right.
But it's when they grow up with daddy's money from Gilbert and Queen Creek, it's like, I hope Russia wins.
If you're not aware of this, we are currently engaged in a global battle of the sexes like we've never seen before. And the men are losing their minds. There are a couple of really foundational issues that are causing all of the tension between men and women and keeping us from being able to engage in healthy romantic relationships. First of all, women have been fighting to get free from this patriarchal system that hasn't served them well. Men were fine with it. Every religious guy that I currently have still left in my circle of friends right now is freaking out about feminism and women's rights and the dating scene in general right now, because they've all grown up in this world that's been passed down to us for hundreds of years, where the man is a real man and he goes out and provides a living like God designed him to do. And all he has to do is find some pretty little girl that wants to stay home and decorate and clean the house and raise the babies. And he's got it made. They were happy over here in this system that our grandparents and great grandparents were living in. And we have been fighting hard to get out of that system. And now we're over here and they're over there. And we don't know how to reach each other. I feel in a lot of ways like women are the Jetsons cartoon and men are over here in the Flintstones. And those two worlds, they never meet up. So that's a huge problem. Another huge problem is the fact that marriage is a man-made construct which has been squeezing the life out of humanity since we civilized and forced it down all our throats. And it's probably time to get rid of it altogether. But despite the 50+% divorce rate and the 57% cheating rate, people are still kind of clinging to the system for religious reasons and for property reasons that we really probably shouldn't be engaging in. The fact that the American nuclear family model is still being shoved down all of our throats is the reason why marriage isn't working. It's not supposed to work. It was never supposed to work. That's not the way that human beings operate for so many reasons. One of them is that foundationally, we're supposed to have diverse intergenerational tribes where we're as connected with best friends and aunts and uncles and parents and children as we are with our spouse. And the Christian church in America and other cultures and religions came in and shoved this whole leave and cleave thing. So we now think that this romantic partnership is the end all. And it's not. It leaves us lacking. One of the reasons why the nuclear family was shoved down our throats here in America was so that we would get married and buy a house separate from the family compound, breaking down our ancient tribal systems in the interest of banks and builders and realtors making money off of individual family housing, which is fairly unprecedented in the entire history of the human world. So our tribes were torn apart in the interest of American capitalism and our obsession with consumer goods and profits and corporations. And so I spent most of my life as a child growing up in a home where my mom was very lonely during the day, living in her own little house in the picket fence. And then I repeated that. And for 24 years, I was the wife in a nuclear family where I was at home inside of my little house all day long. And it was so mind-numbingly isolating and I hated it. And it put a lot of pressure on my relationship because once I was detached from my tribal system and thrown into the American suburbs, all of my relational needs had to come from my husband. And he wasn't capable of filling the needs that should be met by an entire freaking tribe. Another problem in our human relationships is our access to information from other human beings. For most of human civilization, all of our information has been vertical. It's come from the top, our government, our king, our prophets, our popes, our whoever is doing the media. People are giving us information, educational institutions, etc. But now, for the first time in human history, I reach millions of people a month on social media, and I hear from thousands and thousands of other people, and we're all connecting and we're all conversating for the first time ever. Conversation brings awareness, and awareness often brings change. And so as we hear other people's stories, we are demanding change. It's really easy sometimes to think that I'm the only person going through this. Maybe I just have depression. Maybe I'm just not a good wife or a good mom. But when we all start connecting with each other and saying, my life was totally screwed up by having babies too early, and I really missed out on a lot, and I didn't have the educational opportunities that my husband did. And then, oh my God, when we finally got divorced, my life was destroyed. I lived in poverty. I'm still on food stamps. He's over there with the next wife doing great because he had an education and leadership opportunities and a career. And so we all start talking to each other, and all of a sudden, the women over here are like, oh my God, I'm not alone. We're all doing this. And the men are over there going, oh my God, our secret's out. It is impossible to have all the information that we have today and not demand change as women. I would say that the final big challenge to our relationships right now is that we have all grown up in this culture that's very capitalistic, consumer products based, and it's all money, money, money all the time. And America has very much turned all of our relationships, which are just natural human organic connections with one another, into transactionships. And I can't even fall in love and just be with somebody unless I pay for the marriage license, pay for changing all of the information and getting the new credit cards and the Social Security and all this stuff, pay for the wedding, send out the invitations, feed everybody dinner. It is commercialized from beginning to end, like every other aspect of our lives. And then we're stuck in this system where the men and the women, because of income disparity, because of still the expectations of the American traditional family, women have to be provided for by their men. Still, 37% of women identify as stay-at-home moms as adults. And that turns our whole entire relationship into a transactionship. I might date this guy over that guy because this guy has more money and he's going to provide for me and my kids. And our relationships have been drowned and choked out by consumerism. So my religious male friends are over here saying, what is going on? Feminism has destroyed dating and marriage, and I can't even find a good girl anymore. And my female friends are over here going, we have seen the other side. We have seen the promised land. We know what we want now. But for many of us, it means that we are going to be alone because the men want to just put us back in that box over there that we no longer want to be in. The religious conservative men are coming up with all kinds of creative ways to shove us back into this box. Let's get rid of Roe v. Wade and let's get rid of no-fault divorce. And they're finding other non-coercive ways. Like, what if I just date the poor pretty girl? Because then she's not going to have the power.
I hate to say this, but you have to look at a Mormon girl, see what her dad was like, and then do the exact opposite. All of these girls that were raised in good homes with stable fathers and plenty of money, they're used to men who are predictably good to them.
And they
feel entitled to it, and familiarity has bred contempt. And so if they have a great, awesome, stable home, you know what you need to do? Get their number. Don't call them for 3 days. It's the first time that somebody hasn't called them. Then when you do call them.
The question is there a solution? How does the battle of the sexes end? Does it end with us not having the rights to our bodies, not being able to divorce, and not being able to support ourselves, or our daughters support themselves, or our granddaughters support themselves into perpetuity moving forward into the future? Are we going back there? Are we going up here? What is the solution? I have a couple ideas. And remember, I came from over here. I was a Mormon trad wife my whole entire life for 44 years was spent in this little teeny box. And I thought that it was the way that Heavenly Father wanted the world to be until it all collapsed and I lost my faith and I lost my husband. And I've spent 6 years now trying to renegotiate the terms of my life and the way that I interact with men. I think the answer is a return to the way that humans are supposed to live. Men and women need to embrace relationships outside of just that intimate partnership. We need to maintain those family ties. We need to have those friends, that purpose. Women need to work and have jobs and purpose and passion outside of their kitchen, outside of the laundry rooms, outside of the kids' playroom. The answer to our marriage problems is fixing our tribal problems first. Then we need to kick down all of the gender constructs that American Christian nationalism and things like Mormonism, evangelicism, Jehovah's Witness, and all the others have shoved down our throats. Because we have the scientific evidence that shows that men and women have both equally done everything that a human being needs to do in the world for hundreds of thousands of years. Women are not better adept at cooking and changing baby diapers and bonding with their children. Fathers need to be doing all of that too. We are whole, complete human beings, whether we are male or female. We are not just one half of like the whole you complete me thing. That is a bunch of bullcrap. It's time that we start raising our daughters to be whole, complete, well-rounded people. Like, yeah, still teach them the cooking and how to take care of a baby, but also leadership skills, money making, financing, how to provide for themselves. And let's teach our sons how not just to do that, but also to show up emotionally, to connect communally. Let's get rid of all the transaction ships and create real organic human relationships again. Lastly, I think that as a culture, we need to put forward some better ideals, some movies, media, songs, examples of real life couples that are living out healthy partnerships where neither of one of them are objectified or exploited, where they show up authentically for one another while also maintaining their tribal connection. Let's get rid of the fairy tale that's been shoved down all of our throats as the poor little impoverished princess without an education or any skills, except she's just really pretty running around in the forest. And along comes Prince Charming. And just because he's Prince Charming, she's like, oh, sweep me off my feet. Let's go. But the most difficult thing about where we're at is just simply the fact that we women know what we don't want. It's over there. And these men know what they don't want. It's over here. But neither of us really have a clear vision of where we're going in the future. It's time that we create that. When I did that in my own life, everything changed.